Aggression, a major key to survival. In a matter of seconds, cute and cuddly turns astoundingly vicious.
Ow, 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 ow.
Related to Australia's best-known icons, these mysterious fur balls live their lives fast and furious. With bad attitudes and razor-teeth bared, these feisty little creatures can pack a whole lot of punch, proving that size does not matter to the carnivorous marsupials. Just the size of their killer instinct.
In the evening, while the average family sits watching television, out in their suburban gardens, the killer instinct is in full swing. Unlike the larger, well-known carnivores like African lions that have to kill once a week, these little Australian demons called phascogales, numbats, planigales and antechinus have to kill 4 or 5 times every night to survive.
The marsupial carnivores are sometimes described as the little killers with strange names you've never heard of, helping to emphasise their elusive nature. With its blood-curdling snarls, the Tasmanian devil's attitude is instantly recognised from cartoon to actuality. But it's these little tough fellas that are getting harder to film in the wild. Rob said he felt privileged to get so close to these rare and becoming rarer animals.
Finding these feisty little bundles of fur in the Australian bush can be a real challenge. All the Australian marsupial carnivores are nocturnal, which means they hunt at night and they're very secretive. Talk about a needle in a haystack, but you really don't want to be on the other end of those needle-sharp teeth. These little carnivorous marsupials are called dasyurids, and they actually kill their prey by biting it on the back of the head and crushing their brains. They're very voracious little hunters. Likes the heads.
So what is a marsupial? They number about 260 species, some of which live in or near America, but the greatest variety are by far native to Australia. They include kangaroos, koalas, bandicoots, opossums, Tasmanian devils and Tasmanian tigers. Marsupials are distinctive because all care for and feed their young in a pouch. Despite their cute and cuddly appearance, these tiny marsupial carnivores are simply following in the much larger footsteps of their now extinct ancestors.
Meet Australia's ancient version of the saber-toothed tiger. Now, to me, the only similarities they had is they both are extinct and they both ate meat. The marsupial lion was the largest carnivorous marsupial in Australia, and it's amazing to think that he actually wandered around with the Aborigines.
Fossil evidence points to North America as the original birthplace of marsupials 80 million years ago. Marsupials gradually dispersed following land bridges into Australia.
When Gondwana split apart, the Australian marsupials were basically isolated, left to their own devices, to evolve over millions of years into the diverse range of species that flourish here today.
Modern carnivorous marsupials seem to have learned a lesson from their climate-susceptible, larger extinct ancestors. The biggest of the group, the tiger quoll, is only about the same size as a medium dog. Unlike their more placid relatives, the marsupial carnivores are not well known to the public. Only those that venture out into the night, actively and patiently seeking them, will discover these relatively small predators in their element. Rob goes in search of this solitary bunch, which are literally armed to the teeth, using their instincts to survive the harsh Australian climate. Instincts that kick in to survive the ever-present threat of predators.
Oh!
Rob as usual, is often seen as a potential predator and will have to survive quite a range of little sharp fangs if he wants to embrace the strange and solitary world of the marsupial carnivores. Daylight is fading, and it's time to meet these miniature hunters face to face on their own turf. Next up, as Rob says, time to get up close and personal. The sun has begun to set across northeastern Australia. For many, this signals the hunt for survival is near.
I'm out here looking for a quoll. Now, most people wouldn't even know what a quoll is. In fact, 9 out of 10 Australians don't even know what a quoll is. Now, some people know it as a native cat or marsupial cat, but it doesn't even look like a cat. It looks more like a possum with spots. The only similarity to the cat is its teeth and the prey it eats. In Australia, it fills the same niche as cats do in other countries. At this moment, it is the top marsupial mammalian predator in Australia. Now I'll go and try and find you one.
The evening shadows are getting long, and Rob has set out with Martin Finley, park ranger and quoll breeder, to see if the natives are stirring.
Hey, what's that over there, hey? It's a part of a water dragon. Something's had a decent feed on him. Yeah. This could be a good sign. Looks like a bit of a log up there. Gives lend me a torch. I'll just go and have a look. There's a hollow down this end. There's one in here, mate. Beauty. I'm lucky he's got his tail towards us. I've got you a tiger quoll, or tiger cat. It's the largest of the quoll family, and it's still pretty prevalent on the mainland. And when you look at the teeth of this thing, oh, they're pretty strong too, hey? Well, I had a tiger cat for you, or tiger quoll. They're pretty strong, as you can see, and I'm pretty lucky to get away with my fingers, I suppose. Now, this tiger cat is an excellent predator. Climbs trees, probably eats a lot of sleeping birds, big enough to take down a possum and other marsupials like bandicoots, even reptiles.
Like his cousin, the famous Tasmanian devil, quolls have just as fearsome a reputation.
You wouldn't want those teeth sunk into your fingers, that's for sure. Look at those fangs. You can see he's a real carnivore, this fellow. A killer. Now the feet, if you look at the feet, 5 toes on the front foot and only 4 on the back. And look at the pad there, it looks like he's more terrestrial than arboreal. Come in a couple of colours. This is a black one. They come in a tan or black, and if you look at those teeth there, you really don't want him to sink them into you, that's for sure.
4 species of quolls exist in Australia, all looking fairly similar with their spotted coats. Largest, tiger quoll, is easy to tell apart from the others as their spots continue down onto the tail.
Now this one is called the eastern quoll, believed extinct on the mainland. It only exists in the wild in Tasmania. Down he goes. And like the other smaller dasyurids, the planigales, the phascogales and the numbats, it doesn't have an exceptionally long life. About 4 years maximum. It lives its life to the full as well. There you go, mate.
Like the Tasmanian devil, quolls scavenge for food, but they're also impressive hunters.
Quolls are killers because they have to be. I mean, they're a predatory animal that's had a long evolution, and the variety of things that they eat mean that they've got to adapt to a variety of different killing situations. They not only kill things like birds and reptiles, small mammals, they'll also eat, of course, insects, frogs. So, wide variety of things require a wide variety of techniques, and quolls have mastered those.
The different quoll species have even developed their own distinct hunting styles. Easterns behave a bit like foxes, very opportunistic. They're not fussy eaters, with most of their diet consisting of invertebrates, but if the mood strikes them, they can put larger creatures in their sights, such as mice, rats, even rabbits. The larger tiger quolls are more on the prowl, like the big cats. Using a snatch and grab technique, these agile climbers are able to ambush their prey, crawling into hollows to take an easy meal of a sleeping possum. Either way, if the prey can't outrun the quoll, they basically don't stand a chance. As with every species, survival of the fittest is the rule of thumb. A harsh rule that applies right from birth for all species, including eastern quolls.
Now, one of the real quirky things about the quoll is when they breed, the female has about 30 young at a time, but she's only got 6 teats. So the first 4 or 5 up there are the ones that make it. They're the ones that survive.
Unlike other animals, these animals only breed once a year. They're short-lived, so they're really not breeding very often in their lifetime, and of course that makes it critical to not only be able to breed them quickly, but to do it successfully.
Like many predatory species, quolls have gained a bad reputation amongst the farming community, mainly due to their appetite for poultry. But is it just their checkered past that is creating problems for their future?
There's a lot of stories out there that chicken farmers and people who've seen them take poultry have been responsible for their demise, but probably the few that were killed by farmers had really nothing to do with the overall decline. The introduction of things like foxes, cats, and to a lesser extent probably dogs gone wild or dingoes, have all contributed to the fact that there's more competition out there, more successful competition, and of course the eastern quoll, with its smaller size and smaller breeding capacity, just came off second best.
On mainland Australia, eastern quolls are considered extinct. Tiger quolls are becoming increasingly threatened, and while they are protected by law, this is not always enough. There are, however, some unusual steps being taken to try and give these unique and voracious creatures a higher profile. With a special license, quolls are making their way into people's homes as pets.
Now in Australia, if someone wants a cat-like animal as a pet, I reckon these little creatures would be ideal, because the domestic cat's quite detrimental on wildlife in the yard. There's only one drawback with these little fellows. They don't live very long, about 4 or 5 years, so you've got to keep renewing your pet. You notice how she's smelling? These creatures rely on their sense of smell.
The more people see and learn about them, the better their chance for survival, both in captivity and, hopefully, in the wild. But you would need a firm and experienced hand to call one of these kitty. Coming up, we'll meet the easy riders of the carnivorous marsupials, a trio of tiny creatures whose motto is live fast, die young. Carnivores, the highest members of the food chain, feared, respected, never to be underestimated.
Imagine if this creature grew to the size of a lion, with the head alone a quarter the size of its body, armed with huge teeth, able to take down an animal its own size in a flash. Now, this little creature here could be the one that's going to replace the marsupial lion in Australia. To me, they look extra cute. In fact, its looks belies its aggressive hunting nature.
Introducing the mini-me's of the carnivorous marsupial world. The ones with the bizarre names, phascogales, antechinus, and planigales. Looking more like household mice, this trio of surprisingly formidable creatures belong to a gang of marsupials that literally live fast, die young. The smallest of the trio are the planigales. Up close, they look like miniature kangaroos with rounded ears and long snouts. But that's where the similarity ends. Big roos at about 85 kilos or 190 pounds weigh 17,000 times more.
Nearly all the marsupial carnivores are arboreal, which means they hunt in the trees. They're also nocturnal. Now in the daytime, this tree looks pretty dead. But if I peel back the bark, you'll see what I mean. It's just teeming with life. Under this bit of bark, there's a cockroach. And under this bigger bit, there's a big spider.
With food available day or night, planigales always find something good on the menu. They attack their prey with all the ferocity and cunning of a lion. In matters of scale, it looks like a fair fight, but the planigale has got the brains to match the brawn, outwitting the insect easily. The cricket's defences are useless against the quick, crushing blow that a hungry planigale's jaw can deliver. Nothing goes to waste, the victim's fluids replacing water as the planigale's drink of choice. Next in line are the antechinus. 10 times heavier than planigales, they tend to forage through leaf litter, and Rob's about to find out what they're looking for.
Just in there.
All right.
Not as big as we'd like, but it's a centipede.
Finding more antechinus food than antechinus, and with scorching summer heat, Rob's wondering who's the smarter, the hunter or the hunted.
This is hot work. Yeah. Centipede. There it is. He won't bite me. He thinks I'm a tree. If I don't squash him, he doesn't even know I'm here.
Watching antechinus feed can be an interesting experience. Here he finds one of Rob's centipedes and makes short work of the biting insect. But when they devour larger, bonier prey, they turn their victims inside out, neatly taking the flesh away from the bone, leaving the empty skin behind. But now, Rob hunts the very elusive phascogale in a captive enclosure. He finds it's not like shooting fish in a barrel.
Looks like a squirrel with a big fluffy tail, and he'd probably be one of the best acrobats in the world. I'm going to try and catch this little fellow. Not going to be easy. Oh! He doesn't like that. Yes. Ow, 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 ow! Talk about savage, little devil. Okay, mate, okay. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down, little fella. Anybody'd think I'm on a quest to be bitten by every kind of animal on the planet. As you can see, extremely agile little animal. Walk upside down, jump, run, almost fly. And that tail probably used as a rudder. Help change direction quickly. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Hey, it's all right. Settle down, come on. Come on, oops. Ooh, wants to bite again, hey? think I stick to me crocodiles. Oh, there's another finger. Oh, trying to bite me again. Come on. Oh, chunk. In the wild, this little creature's an arboreal one, climbs trees very, very well, and he's nocturnal. And that's when the geckos and the frogs and the crickets come out. Now I guess at his size, he'd also be taking on smaller birds up to the size of a peaceful dove, because they sleep at night. But even if they didn't, I reckon he'd still be able to catch him. He's a flighty little devil, as you can see. It's almost a case of who's got who in this counters. You can see why he drew blood, there's no doubt about it. It's Phascogale 3, Robbie none.
From their finger-shredding techniques, it's easy to understand why Phascogales have the worst reputation in the trio. These tough little fuzzballs are renowned chicken slayers. Bad reputations and interesting table manners are just a few characteristics that set this small group of carnivores aside from the other marsupials that roam this continent. Next up, Rob goes bush in search of some small but restless natives. Rob leaves the sanctuary cages behind in a search of a little wild child, and he's hot on the trail.
A lot of insect shells here. Under this little log are a lot of remains of different sorts of insects. It looks like I'm getting close to something anyway. Ha-ha! What a little beauty! Now this little marsupial carnivore, it's called a fat-tailed dunnart, and it's the most common dunnart in Australia. Lives under rubbish like this. Probably eats these little beetles here. Huh? Want a bit? Won't eat because he's wild. What a beauty. It's a male, I can see this, he doesn't have a pouch. And you'll notice the very fat tail. Used for storing food during dry times. So you never know what you're going to turn up when you look through rubbish like this. Could be anything. But he's a real little beauty, aren't you, mate? There you go.
The fat-tailed dunnart belongs to the most diverse group of the marsupial carnivores. 19 species exist throughout the arid regions of Australia. They might be diverse, but most of the dunnarts are, unfortunately, rare. Rob wanted to meet the largest of the group, but they're so elusive, he's gone to a sanctuary that researches them to ensure a close encounter.
This little feisty critter is a Julia Creek dunnart. Until a few years ago, it was believed extinct, not just endangered. But they've found that where they live, certain times of the years, when it's a good year, they're quite common.
Despite their size, these are very adaptable creatures. Water is naturally hard to come by in dry areas, so they've worked their way around the problem by not drinking. Instead, they get all the moisture they need from the prey they devour.
Front feet are like hands, for grabbing onto their prey. And like most of the other small dasyurids, they actually bite their prey on the back of the head, crunch the heads to kill it. Let's have a bite, watch. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Whoa, just as well it's not bigger. Can't really hurt me there, the skin's too tough. But you can see why they got their reputation of being aggressive. If there ever was an animal that could be called aggressive, it'd have to be these little critters. I'm as big as a mountain to this thing, and look at it chewing in there. Whack, whack, whack.
Here at Pearcedale Wildlife Park, research continues into these pocket rockets. Their high metabolic rates are demonstrated in this dunnart's manic exercise regime. Even catching them in close quarters is not easy. And here we see positive proof that this is a marsupial.
Now this is a little female one. They don't have a pouch like other dasyurids. It's just a little depression, and they can have anything from 3 to 10 young ones, and that's probably why they don't have a pouch. The young wouldn't fit. They just seem to attach to the teats and hang on. And as they get bigger, they just climb on the mother's back, and she carries them around on their backs. Hey, sweetie.
These marsupials hunt ambush style, using their search and destroy method to target their prey. Grasshoppers, moths and beetles. Not afraid to take on larger food items either, so this large centipede poses no problem. To save energy, they eat their kill on the spot rather than dragging their victims off to the nest.
Now you might notice they've got quite big eyes for the size of their head, and he's a nocturnal animal. It allows him to see really well. Pretty noisy little devil too. So they're able to pick up the smallest of movement in the grass of just insects and spiders cruising around. And like most other nocturnal animals, they only see in black and white. There is no need to see colours out there in the night.
In the wild, Dunnarts have a lifespan of about 18 months to 2 years.
It's probably because it's so tough out there. The males generally die after they mate, which just leaves more territory for the young ones.
Females do not like company. Any mate that outstays his welcome runs the risk of being attacked and killed.
I'm out here in the mallee country of southern Australia. Next up, I'm on a search for a creature that's on the long journey back from the brink of extinction with a peculiar habit: it just can't kick. Back in 1982, numbats were regarded as the most endangered species of animal in the world, with only a few hundred remaining. But don't worry, that's why I'm here at Yookamurra in South Australia, to find out how they've come back from the dead.
Australia is a land of change. Change that doesn't always happen for the best. It's a sad truth that native animals like the numbat are usually the first to suffer from progress.
Some 200 years ago, before European settlement, these little fellows lived right across the whole of the southern of Australia. Today, you're lucky to see any. So this is a real treat in getting to hold one and see it up real close and personal.
Until sanctuaries like Yookamurra were set up, the numbat was extinct in most of its range. A small population surviving in the southwest corner of Western Australia. Luckily, native breeding programs were successful, raising enough numbats to start re-establishing populations in the wild.
We started with the 10 numbats in November, December 1993, and from then it's really grown unbelievably. Around 120, and probably one of the better things that we've done with the numbats is to actually send some back to Western Australia a couple of years ago. That was a real bonus.
Rob knows it's time to replace the tracking collars at Yookamurra and collect the data. He happily assists in the hunt. And, as if in defiance of their would-be fossil status, it's also numbat breeding season. With 1,100 hectares, some 3,000 acres of sanctuary to roam around, the numbats can be hard to track down, unless they've got on a radio collar.
So this is the really only sure way to find a numbat.
Certainly is, mate. They can't escape from us this way.
Yeah, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack out here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, eventually there could be a numbat in that tree right there, and we wouldn't know. If it hasn't got a collar on, it's going to be a lucky numbat. He's still there.
Over that way?
In that direction, yep.
Okay.
One of the reasons the numbats are doing so well here is the abundance of their staple diet, termites. Millions of these tiny insects live in underground galleries, travelling from tree to tree, unless they are ambushed by a hungry numbat. They can lick up and devour about 15,000 termites each day.
And what the numbats do to find them is they use their nose, and they seem to use their ears as well. They just scurry around on the ground and look for the right position, and then they'll suddenly stop, quickly dig a hole into the ground and then stick their long snout into it.
Termites are a bland food, but high in protein. Like all marsupial carnivores, numbats eat a high-energy food to fuel their fast metabolisms.
Pretty close actually.
Rob starts to close in on a collared numbat.
Follow the noise, follow the noise. He's riding the ball. So you can get a signal without the aerial like that. You're pretty much on top of them. This is going to be a fun one. That gives you an idea of how hard they are to find.
Definitely right there.
They've located the numbat and she's actually inside this hollow log, even though they haven't seen her yet. Rob doesn't want to lose her, so he plugs up any escape routes. Patience is the key when you're using an axe.
Yep, she's there. You can see her in there.
That's that little nest. And I'll try and blow her up towards you.
She runs into my hand, just grab
And
her on the head.
yeah, hopefully she'll be looking at me, distracted by me. She'll just run into your hand thinking it's the end of the log. And voila, we should have a numbat. You got it?
Yeah.
You actually got it. Yeah.
Whole body. Behind the front legs, basically.
Yep, cool. They really grab on, so it'll be a bit of a fight for you, mate.
You sort of put her head on. Okay, there we go. Yes, yes.
She's instantly placed in a bag to settle her down and not stress her.
Numbat.
Number one.
Well done. Well done.
My first numbat. What a feeling.
She's a feisty one. She only just got out of, I think we just woken her up.
Chunky. Right, there we go.
Now what I'll get you to do is just sort of pull the legs apart, and they don't have a typical pouch, it's more of a mammary fold.
Yes, yes. Thought I saw something. That's right.
Here we
Yes.
go. Three
littles.
Three little baby numbats. Fantastic.
Look at that. So
Brilliant.
it's not really a pouch, it's just a fold like that.
And that develops during the breeding season. There's actually just like a flat belly most of the time.
They really do look just like baked beans, don't
Yeah,
they?
little jelly babies or baked beans or something. It's amazing they turn into this.
But I mean, that's a true mark of success of the operation, isn't it?
Since she was last captured, this female has put on 100 grams, the same as about 2 candy bars.
It's 595 grams, so put on a fair bit of weight.
The radio collar changeover is done as quickly as possible to cause the least stress on the animal.
Numbats do have a few natural predators, and probably the biggest one at Yucumara is the goshawk or the sparrowhawk. They're birds of prey which fly very well amongst the trees. They've got short rounded wings which lets them fly quickly in amongst tight vegetation, and they will take the numbats off the ground. Pythons are also a threat to numbats, but luckily at Yucumara we haven't reintroduced pythons within the sanctuary yet.
With a new collar attached
New necklace, darling.
and tested, Rob gets the honour of releasing her. Blink and you'll miss it. To date, approximately 2,000 numbats survive in 11 different locations in southern Australia. Their status recently upgraded to vulnerable, a relatively vast improvement from world's most endangered animal. Next up, Robbie heads out under the cover of night to reveal the predators of these marsupial hunters.
Now, if you come around in this country in the daytime, you see nothing, very little. But you come out at night with a spotlight, and the first thing you'll notice is eyes. And the real bright ones belong to a fox, not so bright ones belong to the rabbit, and you'll often see kangaroos hopping around. Tonight we've seen no little marsupials, just a few rabbits. And foxes, I would say, are one of the main predators on all of our smaller marsupials.
Introduced here in 1855, the fox is the most widely distributed feral animal in the country. 5 million of them roam southern and central Australia. Fox populations tend to mimic the spread of their main food source, the rabbit. But they are not picky hunters. Any small or medium-sized marsupials that stray on their path will also fall victim. The spooky eye shine that you see in the darkness is caused by a special membrane in the eyes of nocturnal animals called the tapetum. These membranes magnify any light that is available, giving these creatures excellent night vision. Feral cats are another huge problem for native wildlife. Their population estimated to be more than 12 million. Farmers take a dim view of these voracious killers. Whether this bizarre display is designed to frighten off other feral cats or serve as a lesson to careless pet owners, it's a sobering image that underlines the negative effect introduced wildlife can have. These feral predators attack native animals and livestock alike. Controlling these pests is a costly battle. But are trapping programs enough to help native wildlife survive?
Seeing foxes are so detrimental to our wildlife, I'd like to see them gone, but from a practical point of view, that's impossible. So really the only way we're going to save our marsupial wildlife is to create little islands, fence-in areas, and eliminate foxes and cats from those areas. Like they're starting to do in several places in Australia, like Yookamurra in South Australia.
Yookamurra has over 14 kilometres. That's around 9 miles of alarmed electrified fence to protect the native wildlife from those feral invaders.
So it all basically comes down to the crunch. We've got to figure out what needs saving and focus on saving those. Because kangaroos, they're pretty safe. You can see lots of kangaroos. The larger marsupials seem to be okay, but it's those smaller ones that really need saving. We've got to do surveys and find out just how many are in areas and pick the areas out and then fence them in. That's all we can do.
Feral mammals aren't the only creatures causing problems for carnivorous marsupials.
Not only do the little dasyurids of Australia have to contend with foxes and cats that actually eat them, they also have to contend with these innocuous looking little things. They're cane toads. They might look all right, but if you eat one, you die. They're poisonous.
101 of these lethal amphibians were introduced in 1935 as a biological control to get rid of pest beetles in the cane fields of northeastern Australia. Big mistake. Not only did they do nothing to solve the first problem, they created another. Within 6 months, 60,000 were crawling through the fields, spreading like a toxic wildfire.
All of the skin on the back is poisonous and have these huge venom glands. So if you eat one, that's it.
Next up, Rob goes in search of a mysterious marsupial creature that reportedly lurks in the Australian bush. Are the rumours true? What's really out there in the darkness?
What is over there? Can you see that?
This is the saber-toothed tiger, and this is Australia's version, the marsupial lion. He's long gone, but is he? Many times science has written off a species as extinct until someone catches a live specimen. Could these little dasyurids still have larger ancestors roaming Australia? Reports surface on a regular basis of a large cat-like creature known as the night growler.
It's like a high-pitched like that, but it's there.
Right. Trying to keep an open mind, Rob ponders the possibility of huge marsupial carnivores and how they could hide so effectively from us.
A lot of people are quite sceptical that a large predatory animal could exist in Australia without being seen, like the extinct thylacine or the marsupial lion. These are animals that don't want to be seen, and I'd probably be the biggest sceptic out, but I still have an open mind. I'm going to show you how easy it is for something to hide in the bush. Now I'm only about 1 metre into the bush and I can't be seen. And I'm not camouflaged. I'm not trying to hide. So you can see that one of these animals could exist.
One area where many unexplained sightings are recorded is the small town of Buderim in the north of Australia, where Rob went to hear the stories for himself.
Buderim used to be a huge rainforest area. There have been 2 distinctly different animals sighted in that area, which are both well known in folklore.
Steve claims he is just one of many local eyewitnesses.
It was a large black panther-like animal. It was, in my own mind, easily 7 feet long, head to tail. Now, I don't know what it was, but it certainly doesn't fit anything that should be here.
From sighting descriptions, this model was built up. This is supposedly the beast of Buderim. The stripes on the rump look like a numbat, and it has other features like the extinct Tasmanian tiger. The cat-like description may have an explanation. In 1994, this was captured on video. It sort of looks like a small African lioness, perhaps an escaped circus performer. Some locals are sceptical, but others...
It was a dead calf. The skin was laid out perfectly. The skeleton was just licked clean. The head was the only bit untouched.
Could there really be a creature alive that's a throwback of the carnivorous marsupials? Or is it all simply active imaginations at work? Australian zoologist Steve Van Dyke offers his educated opinion.
Take this for example. Here's a footprint that was taken. It looks as if it's the claws of an enormous animal, perhaps a yowie, maybe a handprint of a yowie or a panther or something or other like that. But when you look at it carefully, all it is the footprint from a kangaroo. It has 2 main claws on either foot, and when these 2 go down together in mud on the tiptoes, you simply get a print that looks like that, and it's easily explainable.
But how does all this compare to the real marsupial lion that's been dubbed Australia's saber-toothed tiger?
Looking at the anatomy of this animal, the general body shape, the feet, the claws, the head, to me he looks a bit like a cross between a possum and a koala who came out of the trees to actually make use of a niche to become a carnivore. Now, just looking at his front feet alone, he's got an opposing thumb and he's got fingers. Most other cats have a paw, which are very short, so they can actually kill with their claws. He would have gripped with these fingers to climb and also holding his animals. Back feet look more like the back foot of a possum, and he's got a long tail for balance. All points to a tree dweller. If this skull was a bit bigger and these teeth here were fused into a single cutting tooth, this could be the skull of a marsupial lion, a carnivore. Now this is the skull of a koala, a leaf eater, a vegetarian. What's very puzzling to me is in both skulls, these teeth here look almost identical.
Rob then compares it with a modern-day big cat.
The smaller one is the skull of a mountain lion or a puma, and the marsupial lion skull here is at least 4 times bigger. It's quite amazing that when you look at them from on the top, they look very, very similar. The muscles we've attached on, the eye sockets, everything, even the length of the jaw looks very, very cat-like. Yet it'd be fair to say that more Aboriginals were killed by the marsupial lion than Aboriginals ever killed marsupial lions.
But why did this large marsupial die out?
My personal feeling is that climate was the main driving force behind the extinction of these animals. Typically, big animals are more susceptible to extinction, whatever it is. It's ironic in a way that these amazingly big, tough, fierce animals are really the first to bite the dust when the going gets tough.
Well, you wouldn't want him hanging off your throat either.
So the search for the extinct goes on, while their comparatively tiny descendants, the modern marsupial carnivores, truly rule their own patch, full of life and the killer instinct. Coming up, the final word on the future of these cute little tough guys. Marsupials can be found in other parts of the globe, but it's the isolated continent of Australia where they have chosen to flourish. More than 2,000 species inhabit this often harsh environment. Unlike places like Africa, where placental mammals rule the plains, Australia is unique. It's the only place on Earth where marsupials are the dominant species. About a quarter of Australia's marsupials are carnivorous. Compared to other predators around the world, they may be small, but their natural aggression and survival instincts allow them to be just as successful. for a pleasant change, human intervention has saved some of these from the endangered lists for future generations to enjoy, as long as they look very quickly.
After playing with these little marsupial carnivores, I'm glad they don't grow as big as lions or grizzly bears. Ow, 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 ow. I'm Rob Bredl, and thanks for joining me on Killer Instinct.